What's up, guys? We're driving to the gym, and this morning, as I was walking around, I had the most incredible thought about what I wanted to talk about in the video today. And I have completely forgotten what it was. I've been, for the past few minutes, I've been racking my brain trying to remember what was it that I wanted to talk about. Can't do it. So this morning, I was also looking around just as I walked and noticing a lot of the birds and the squirrels that are just kind of roaming around the neighborhood. And there's actually an incredibly large amount of them. When you really look, which I've been doing, I've been trying to, just look at more things at a distance to actually train my eyes. But oftentimes I'll end up looking at, birds because they're flying around pretty high up, far away, and they're moving, so it's good for your eyes to see that. Now, what I noticed today as I was looking at them was that, the world is very lively when you actually pay attention. I've walked around, most mornings I'll do a walk, and oftentimes I'm not paying attention to the living things around me. I'll see the trees and bushes and plants and that kind of stuff, but there are a surprising amount of animals. And this morning in particular, I stopped and I was just listening to the birds chirping, which when you actually stop and listen to it on a sunny morning, when, no storms or anything like that, a sunny morning, there's a ton of birds chirping. And most of the time that just gets filtered out of our ears. We don't even notice it. But there's really a ton of them. And then I looked around, I saw squirrels running, birds chirping. It was pretty cool. And it was just making me think that maybe it had something to do with the fact that for the past 2 days, I've turned off all of my social media. I've stopped. Basically, I have app timers set in place. And, I've been lowering the amount of time that I give myself to spend on Instagram, YouTube, X/Twitter, whatever it is. And I'd gotten it down to 5 minutes a day for each of those. And 2 days ago, I just turned it down to 0 minutes each day. And maybe on the weekends, I'll turn it back on and just, catch up with what's going on. Because it is nice from time to time to pop onto the YouTube homepage and see a recommended, movie trailer, and then I learn about a new movie that I'd like to watch at some point, and, stuff like that. You hear about things on Instagram, you get updates on what your friends are up to. If they're long distance, you might not have seen them in a while, and so it's good to get updates, periodically. But I found that using those apps every day has kind of, even when I would just have 5 minutes on each app, it kind of limited my enjoyment of other things in a way, because I would just want to go back to those apps. Even if I just had 5 minutes, it was like just the taste of them was enough to make everything else a little bit less enticing. And I've found myself over the past 2 days still kind of just going into the habit of pulling out my phone and expecting to be able to click onto one of those apps, and then I look at the icon and it's grayed out because there's no time on it. So I if I click on it, it doesn't actually open. And today in particular, I found myself doing that, 3 or so times just as I was getting kind of bored with what I was doing. And it's only 12 o'clock. It's actually a pretty early day today that I'm heading to the gym, but it's a Friday. I figured I'd get in a nice early workout. It seemed fun. So, having any exposure to those really stimulating apps, and TikTok is probably even worse. I've never really used TikTok, but having any exposure to those social media apps, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter even, it really, I found, dampens my enjoyment of other things. At least that's what I'm experiencing today, is that, maybe it's just a coincidence that I noticed a lot more of these natural things, 2 days after I stopped using those apps at all. And, typically there would be a couple minutes spent on them at least, in the morning, I would often, while having some breakfast or something, just have that open on the side and just be, spending some of the time looking at that. And then oftentimes, having a few minutes would lead me to, if the app cut off in the middle of an interesting video or something, I would go into the settings and up the setting by 5 more minutes and finish out that video. So I'd often end up spending more time, and some days I would justify it to myself like, oh, I've got, I'm not, there's nothing else to do right now. I've finished what I needed to accomplish. I may as well just up the timer by an hour and spend this hour just like, using those and just hanging out. And then I would spend a significant amount of time on them. And so, I think just having 0 minutes is better. And for me, at least, I don't know. It's like just getting a little taste of those things. It's too much. And so I think limiting my social media use to, at least on the weekdays, 0 is probably better. And, on the weekends, maybe I'll eventually cut that out too, but it really is nice to have updates on, what family is posting, especially, Instagram's just really good for that, because, people post pictures, and it's more of a, it's not a, I tend to not go onto the, like, search tab and find, trending videos. It's just mostly what's in my feed, what I'm following is what I see, and I mostly just follow, some family members and friends and that kind of stuff. And so it is nice to see more personalized content there, and I enjoy that more. But then, sometimes when you're on the app, you will still gravitate towards the more clickbaity, if you just happen to search for something, and when you're looking at stories in particular, sometimes, other pages just pop up and it gets out of hand. So I think just having 0 minutes is the way to go for me. That's what I've been doing for the past 2 days. Tomorrow's going to be Saturday, so maybe I'll open it back up. I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I just won't bother with it. Well, I'll probably check it. I don't know. We'll see. When the time comes, I'll decide. But for sure, next week, I'll keep it at 0. And I'm interested to see what a full week of that is like. Other than that, that's really, that's all that I thought of. I can't believe I forgot the main thing that I thought of this morning. There was something really cool, a really cool thought that I had that I thought would be great to talk about, and just completely out of my head right now. So I don't know. I should have written it down. But other than that, guys, hope you have a good day. We're almost at the gym, so I'll cut it off here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.